Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Don't know where you are on this lovely planet, so we're greeting you wherever you are. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
Welcome to being here.
Yes.
Today we are taking a brain break. What does that mean?
I was going to ask you that.
Well, you know how your thoughts can work on you, and they can be negative and they can be repetitive.
They can be.
Let's take a break from all that.
Well, how do you take a break from that?
By getting interested in something else other than the conversation inside the interior of your mind, like listening.
Yeah, that's so good. You know, you said it word for word, just about as I thought it. And I appreciate that.
I like being in sync with you.
Yeah, me too.
It's very fun.
I like it when you are in sync with me.
And I notice it when we're not.
When I'm in sync with you, yes. And of course, it becomes noticeable when you're not in sync if you're aware. But if you're lost in your thoughts, then your thoughts are what predominate. See, no two things can occupy you at the same time. So you can either be thinking about what we're saying, or you can be listening to what we're saying and just let it come in. If you do that, you'll get pulled into the current moment. If you think about what we're saying, you'll compare it to what you already know, and you'll come up with, oh, I know this. I've heard this before. This is just like Scientology.
It is?
No.
Oh.
I was going to say mindfulness, but, you know, I figured I'd drop in. Look, Tom Cruise does great with Scientology, so I don't want to poo-poo it.
I don't know much about it, but
well, I know he's involved in it.
That we know.
And I know he's a brilliant actor. And if it in any way supports his acting, it can't be that bad.
Well, maybe. I can't make that. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but I do know that there are lots of things that have supportive things with downsides along with it. So we shall see. We don't know. I'm not even interested in investigating it.
Okay. I was thinking that heroin has a downside.
That's right.
That's right. It calms your mind, but it has a downside.
Yes, I don't recommend that.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you know the thing about being in sync? I noticed something about it last night.
What's that?
Well, you and I, we'd gone out to dinner and we were coming from two separate places. So we had both of our vehicles. Right. And when we pulled into the garage, it was recycle morning this morning. So we have to take the recycle can full of the stuff we're recycling out to the road. And you and I both came out and we turned the can around and I took one handle and you took the other. And I had this thought that we're kind of like two horses pulling the same wagon in tandem. And I was enjoying step by step. And then as I started thinking about that, I clipped the back of my heel. So I thought it's very interesting how with the can, I just clipped it slightly, didn't hurt or anything, but I realized that had to do with my thinking. In that for me at least, experience can devolve really quickly into thinking about the experience I'm having. Yeah. And I have the feeling that this podcast, as you listen, can devolve in an instant to thinking about what was just said.
So you can either get lost there or pull yourself back into what's being said in the current moment.
And it's very simple. Noticing it is all you need to do to pull yourself back. There's no effort required. It's really about seeing.
But this whole reality that you're talking about now could be applied to your life in general.
You bet.
You know, whenever something upsetting comes along, and most everything in our world these days is upsetting, and you have this electronic reality that drops the latest horrific events right into your awareness.
Did you follow one? Come on back.
You know, things that happen, earthquakes, volcanoes going off, tsunamis, banks crashing, etc., etc., etc. They're all potentially threats to your survival, which makes them upsetting events, because upsets are based in a threat to your survival. And the game is to bring yourself back to the reality of where you are. And you probably will discover that in this moment, there's no threat to your reality, except in your thoughts, which rush off to a future that hasn't gotten here or a past that's already gone by.
In case you missed it, I want to say it again. Shai was talking about how this way of listening, this way of looking, this reality can spread out into all aspects of your life. So simply noticing I was thinking about moving the can forward rather than being in the experience of it was enough to bring me back. So everything we do has the possibility of dropping us into the moment. And I've been talking about it some lately. I do a form of exercise called Pilates. I have a coach. I go to the studio. And I've been training myself to be there in each breath, each move. Notice when I'm adding muscle groups that aren't required for the particular exercise, etc. And it's really about being here moment to moment rather than getting lost in a thought. You're now listening to a podcast where you're exercising your ability to be here regardless of the circumstances, simply listening for the sake of listening. And as we go along, you'll probably hear things that are interesting to you or informative to you or unlock hidden chambers or doors for you, but you don't need to do anything with what you see or hear or experience. It's a game of awareness.
Well, see, when you take notes about how to be in some future moment, well, the future just never really shows up the way you thought it would, so that you're preparing for what may come by taking notes about how to be when it does come is kind of irrelevant, because in the moment your life shows up where you need to be there, those notes are irrelevant. It's all a new moment. So your life is a moment by moment unfolding or blossoming. And if you're here for it, you don't have to make decisions about how to be in the future. You just have to see what's wanted and needed in this moment, see what you want in this moment, and go for it. Give yourself permission to be bold.
It includes, negative thoughts. They're really based on the past, projected off into the future again and again and again. You have not done your life wrong.
You've done it perfectly because it got you to this moment of your life.
And you couldn't have done it any differently. And if you judge anything that you have done, you almost guarantee you'll repeat it. If you see it, you notice it, it unlocks the potential for you to be you in this moment. Look and see real time.
And then life shows up newly each moment.
Speaking of newly, let's take our
new guest.
Yes. Welcome to being here, Christina. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, this is Christina, and I'm zooming in from Bonn, Germany.
Welcome.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, when I read the topic of today's show, take a brain break, I immediately heard my voice saying, yes, please. Especially today, I find myself my mind's really loud and really busy, and it wants to figure out the future. If it's the near future, like what am I going to do later? What am I going to eat? Or how am I doing my life? Is it good? Is it bad? I really want to take a break from my brain.
Well, actually, your brain wants to take a break from your brain.
Yes.
See, you're not part of the equation in reality. It's the conversation in your head talking to itself about taking a break rather than you, because you could be on a break right now. See, all you have to do
Mm,
is disengage from that conversation. But you think if you disengage from the conversation, you'll cease to exist.
yes.
Or you won't get anything done.
And the things you think you must get done may be irrelevant to your well-being. I'm not saying you shouldn't do what needs to be done, but you have an idea of what a good you would be doing, and you don't want to be a bad you, so you push yourself to do what may not be necessary.
It's inconvenient on one extreme, to horrific on the other extreme, COVID was. One of the things that if you had it, you discovered, likely, at least I discovered, I'll speak for myself, those things I have to do did not have to be done in the moment I got sick. And I'm not saying that as an off-ramp for accomplishing things and doing things, but I am a very responsible person. I have a schedule. We do things like being here with you today. How if I had showed up with the symptoms of COVID like I had back in July when I had it, we would have canceled today's show, or Shia would have done it himself. I discovered that all of those I have to's are
like
outside of
in
me.
this moment right now, I'm lost watching my cat attack a ball of llama thread.
We alpaca.
Alpaca, excuse me.
We have these dryer balls. They're made from alpaca, and you put in the dryer, and there's 2 of them, and
they're about 4 or 5 inches in diameter.
Size. They're like a softball and size, and it keeps it from being staticky.
The dryer.
And one day I brought up our laundry in a basket, and it had one of the alpaca balls in, and our cat went crazy. She jumped in the basket. She was digging for it and finding it, and she just loves the smell of it. There's something about it. I went back to the store and I bought her own alpaca ball. And the lady was like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "No, I gotta entertain my cat." And this morning she brought it and dropped it by the bed. She was hoping I'd get
Well, she brought it back
upstairs. Now
upstairs
she
here.
brought it up. It's big and heavy. I don't know how she managed to carry it, but it's up here in the office.
Oh, wow.
So as we're having this conversation, she was fighting it, and it caught my eye, and then I was lost in. I was taking a brain break by watching a cat play with an alpaca ball.
So were you lost or found?
No, I was distracted. How's
Okay, that was your moment.
It was definitely, but it was so cool, her engagement with that object. Like it was all her world was in that moment. And we human beings have these incredible brains that think off to the future and back to the past, and we worry about what we should be doing now rather than allow ourselves to just hang out.
So let's go back to your concern about what are you going to do later today? What am I going to make for all of that stuff? When you get sick, for instance, all of that really leaves. You don't really care. All you want to do is sleep or go to bed or feel better. And whilst I'm not intending to get COVID again or hoping to get COVID again, I still have the experience that much of what I have to do is, if not all, is arbitrary, and the pressure to accomplish things is on me. And I don't use that realization to not meet deadlines. It makes it easier to meet deadlines because I don't have to pressure myself to do them. It's a natural self-expression. But the idea that you have to worry about what you're going to make as a meal or whether or not you're doing your life right it's a culturally based concern that has no basis in reality. You are so capable.
Yeah, that's so true. It's I also noticed that lately I've been putting some to-dos on my to-do list, but then I cross them off because I didn't do them. So I scooch them over to the next day or the next week. And I find myself doing this for like, I don't know, for example, buy a new TV because mine it's broken. If I want to get a new one, I can get a new one. But as if I need an extra to do, I mean, it's just like, why?
Wouldn't make that habit wrong. I'll tell you, sometimes I put things up on my calendar, like for instance, our accountant moved, and so I'm updating our credit card address and also reaching out to vendors who might put an old zip code on when they try to process the card, like if I have an automatic payment. So I have it on for today at 10 o'clock. And then if I don't get it all done, I will move it. So as a reminder, so it doesn't slip through the crack and suddenly I don't pay a bill. I don't see that as a bad thing. What you're talking about is making yourself wrong for how you're going about things rather than recognizing clearly you're not ready to buy a TV yet. Because if
you are, you'll do.
Will.
You know, our refrigerator died. And so our second refrigerator, the one that we keep in the basement as for overflow food. And so we decided to get a new refrigerator, and we moved the
quote good one, which had some non-working parts like the water
ice maker.
and the ice maker. Those things no longer work, but we were living with it.
And so we moved that down the basement. We went out to buy a new refrigerator, and there was this problem with the supply lines where to get a refrigerator, you could put your order in, but it might take 3 or 4 months. So that wasn't going to work out too well for us. And then we went to the biggest appliance stores, and they told us the same thing. And then, so we went to this little appliance store in our local town, and they had the perfect.
They had the one we wanted in stock, and we got it the next day.
There you go. Perfect. It's like sometimes life just works out if you let it. But if you're committed to getting things the way you want them, you may not get it done. And it was kind of by accident that we found that place. Let's just stop there, see what they have.
Do you know, Christina, you may want to take things off your to-do list that are wishes. Like a lot of people put on their to-do list things like lose 5 pounds or exercise 3 times a week. They're ideas of what they should do to be a better them. And it clutters up the mail this item by this date because you don't want a late fee. If you're finding your to-do list is not working for you, you could do something else. But the thing that's interesting as you're talking about this brain break you need today is I don't know that you're having fun with what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Anything that's incomplete, you make yourself wrong for rather than notice it's incomplete.
In fact, yesterday we're pulling the cart out to the road. I am thinking of us like 2 draft horses pulling a cart. I had a judgment that wasn't a very complimentary
way of seeing us.
Idea or way of seeing us. And that's when I clipped my heel, which I thought was really funny. And I thought, oh, look at that. It's like life is fun and funny and enlightening, and it's not like this serious endeavor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can see that I'm a little hard on myself, judging it as bad.
Little,
If it's only a little, good for you.
yeah, you're a little hard on yourself.
Drum roll, please. Yes. And the little hard on yourself, waddle hard on yourself, it varies day to day and moment to moment.
Well, look at it this way. I don't think you're hard on yourself when you're engaged in something that you're enjoying doing.
That's true. Yeah, on Monday I took over for a colleague of mine. So I taught theater, a course of theater, and at the end someone locked us in, and I didn't have the keys because some of us teachers share a key, so it was outside. So, there was this option to get all, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm the teacher. I need to be, I'm responsible for the students. But I stayed calm. I looked what was appropriate. So I looked at the window. You could open it. I could step outside and walk onto the balcony. So I said, okay, guys, you stay here. I climbed down the balcony and get the key. And it did. It was like 10 minutes. It was taken care by and was so much fun, actually. Yeah.
I love that.
Well, that's the secret right there. You looked, you saw what needed to be done, and you did it. You didn't think about all the reasons why you should or shouldn't.
Or what it meant about you as a teacher. I mean, you might have had that blip, but it's like, okay, that's not going to get us out of this room.
Yes.
And I love that you had an excuse to climb down from the balcony.
Yeah.
Like, that's not normally how you exit.
Oh, it's not normal.
It was like legitimate too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And if it's something that you want to talk to your administration, that you guys share a key, it may be time for each of you to.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Very fun.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for being
Thank
with
you.
us today. It's been fun.
It's been a pleasure being with you.
Really.
Your aliveness
It's
feels
infectious.
really nice.
Some people catch COVID, other people catch aliveness. And
I like that.
I go for that one.
Thank you. I love sharing it with you.
Thank you. It's time for our listener feedback spotlight.
Okay, so here we go.
We're going to hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about what we're up to, you could register for any of our upcoming virtual courses.
Or sign up for our newsletter. Just visit
transformationmadeeasy.com.
It really is easy.
It is easy if you know the way.
Hi, this is Arne from Cologne, Germany. And I love attending the seminars with the Canes. My life is so lovely, so great. And I'm so thankful to met them 25 years ago. And all the participants are touching my heart every time. And I'm so rich in my life.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have a Living Made Easy 2-hour seminar coming up this Saturday and next Monday. Our weekend seminars that are coming now,
Well, in Hamburg, Germany.
the end of this month.
May 25th and 26th. Well, May 25th, we're doing the Freedom to Breathe. May 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. We're doing fun, fun as the access way to enlightenment.
Might even be better to say we're having fun. As
the access way to enlightenment.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's been years now since we've been able to be in person in Hamburg. People are coming from all over the world. You are invited.
Welcome.
Our next virtual weekend seminar will be late June, the 24th and 25th. 24th and 25th.
Of June.
The theme is
being boldly you.
To boldly go where you haven't gone. No, being boldly you. I'm very excited about the upcoming courses. I feel
well. What I'm excited about, aside from having
a little coffee,
my cough from July's COVID expedition. Thank you.
A little water to ease the throat.
Is the enthusiasm and excitement in our community that's happening around the courses that are being generated.
Also, Costa Rica 2024 is open. You are invited. You can find out all the details for everything we're doing on our website, transformationmadeeasy.com. And you can go there to find out more. You can reach out to us. We'd love to have you join us for any and all. All right, let's take our next guest. Ashley, welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi, I'm calling in from Cambridge in the UK.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It is a real pleasure to be here. I was being very excited about coming on and coming to be able to talk to you. And I'm very excited to be able to come to Hamburg. I saw it a while ago on the website and I hadn't heard, and it was a surprise. And I was like, oh, so I booked flight, and then I followed it up and booked it this weekend after I came to the seminar, which I want to thank you. I want to thank you for these seminars and for these calls. And I particularly had an experience of having not come for a while, and really, the topic is about brain break, and being really caught in my mind, just talking to me all the time. And then as soon as I signed up to the seminar, fortunately, thankfully, because Andrea actually reached out to me and sort of invited me and reminded me, and I really saw, I'll finish that sentence. It prompted me somehow to go ahead and sign up. And then
Come to us.
See, right now, since we're doing this call via Zoom, we can watch you think, because as you think, you look up
and your eyes are going
back and forth, right to left,
like you're reading a script.
So let's just, if you look at your camera and look at us, there you go, then the say will just fall from your mouth. Now, you said you've been busy thinking about a lot of things. My dear, you have been thinking ever since you're 2 years old. You started learning the language, see? And you've been in constant thought with that conversation that you listen to. And you think that that conversation is you talking to you about how you should be. You have the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder, that conversation.
And they're debating.
And they're debating how to go about life.
Yes.
Yes. Well, what if that conversation isn't you, but you've been listening to it for so long, you think it is you?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. And I agree with you that that's normal thought. That normally we think that the voice we listen to is us and it's giving us good advice.
Well,
Yeah.
You,
Well,
Tina
yeah.
said something similar today. She said, "Oh, I'm looking for a brain break because my mind is so loud today. My thoughts are really loud." You're talking about how consumed you were, caught up you were in your thoughts, until somebody reached out to you. You haven't been really connected to podcasts in this community for a while. You registered, and there was something that popped. The only difference in or main difference I'm hearing between you and Christina is Christina's been active for a while, and as she's repeating, it's more lighthearted. You still think this is a serious situation, and one of the things that you have to offer right now to everybody is the depth to which you got consumed by those thoughts as if they're real. How exciting to see that you could just jump out of them in an instant.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And
Yes.
how I'm, we didn't do a shout out earlier. Often we do shout out. I'm saying shout out to Andrea and anybody else who reminds people of the possibility of transformation.
See, transformation isn't something you do. It's a shift in the way you experience living. It's about your experience of life, not your thoughts about life. Thinking about it doesn't change anything.
Just makes you more mentally constipated.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. And yet, I mean, I want to say, well, then how do I stop myself doing it? Because I sort of catch myself doing it, but then I get caught in a conversation that I'm thinking about it, and
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of what you can't get rid of.
Did you hear me talk about, I'm walking out with Shya, pulling the recycle can, and I start thinking about pulling the recycle can. That's how the mind works. It's funny. Or I can try and get rid of it. And
Then you just don't have a life anymore. See, your life gets consumed by what you resist. It isn't consumed by what you notice. If you notice something and don't resist it, that becomes background. That becomes of no pull, no value, no relevance. If I notice that I've had a repetitive thought that I'm not doing my life right, well, if I think, well, now I have to work to do my life right, well, then I'm in resistance to I'm not doing my life.
Or if he thinks he has to get rid of that repetitive thought, rather than
just notice it.
Look, I'm thinking that there's probably something in my environment that I don't want to attend to.
So if I look and see what needs to be done, there's dishes in the sink. I could wash those. Then I'm no longer working on myself to try to be a better idea.
Or, maybe I do need to go out and buy that TV so I can stop talking to myself about it. I could just have a date with myself. It just, instead of repetitively picking on ourselves, which we are all prone to doing, you just think you are especially bad.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that. I do.
That's really relevant for you.
Yeah.
You really do think you're a bad girl.
I do. I've heard you say that before, about being the best worst. And I like, yes, that's me.
Well,
I'm laughing, but I'm not proud of it. But
I didn't say that you're the best worst.
You
added that. I just said that you think of yourself as a bad girl.
And we may talk sometimes that people stratify themselves. They want to be the best or the best worst, but you grabbed that one. But see, you think it's you, Ashley, grabbed that. I have a suspicion that people in your environment self-identified as a at least some of them, or a density of them, self-identified as a lesser group.
Well, wait a second. Are you from New Zealand or Australia?
I'm from New Zealand.
Right. Now, I know Australia was a penal colony in early times.
Did New Zealand get populated?
It was populated after Australia. It was set up, well, particularly where I was from in Christchurch. They wanted to create this sort of like little Britain. So it was populated by a lot of farmers, poor people, a lot of immigrants, lot of people, rural people. I mean, yeah, and we traditionally have this thing called cultural cringe about being less than, like, because we're
Less than.
I love that. Let's just stop there for a
You
minute.
could stop right there at less
I
than.
love that cultural cringe. I've never heard that.
That's
before.
a lovely
It's a lovely
term.
yeah.
You speak with a New Zealand accent. I speak with one that is from the west coast of the United States, Oregon, modified by all my years living in on the East Coast, with a little bit of my travels thrown in. And so my thought processes are formed from where I came from. And so if you start to recognize that, how your thought processes are initially organized, include the culture you were dipped in as a kid. It's like you're a strawberry dipped in chocolate. You eat the strawberry, you're going to taste the chocolate. Well, you're a Ashley dipped in Christchurch cultural cringe about being less. And then you have the thoughts that go along with that, and you're surprised. You think it's you.
Yeah, okay, I do, yes.
But
yeah.
tell you, Ashley, other people that grew up in Christchurch, New Zealand, have very similar thoughts about their worth.
I think, and especially when we come to a place like Cambridge, which is a very
Snooty.
elite university, like
Intellectual snooty.
yeah, well, the top of the top,
And well,
universities and the
look, Ariel
history.
and I have gone fishing in many places around the world, and one of them is Patagonia, which is the southern part of Argentina, near the bottom of the country, bottom of the continent there. Well, going fishing there is an expensive deal, and a lot of English people go there, and they are very culturally structured, very, and so we've had conversations with people there.
They're like, they're not so great. They're self-made men. It's like, well, I'm a self-made woman, so.
But there are cultural stratifications that we, you, and us don't fit in the upper crust. Not that you'd want to either. They're not any you're thinking they're better.
That's right. You're getting a notice. See, that was God saying, da, 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 yes, that's true.
So
yeah.
You're perfect, my dear, exactly as you are.
And those thoughts that you're not
are perfect thoughts.
Or a gift.
They're perfect thoughts. They're just thoughts. Now, if you engage in resisting those thoughts, well, those thoughts run your life. But if you just notice, look at that. The sun came up this morning.
And I'm thinking I'm less. Welcome to my world. And then it's like, if you find your well-being, including those thoughts, you walk into a room where somebody's being hard on themselves, and suddenly they have room to breathe without you even saying anything, because you're not being hard on yourself for being hard on yourself. You become this gift. Owning the totality of Ashley is a gift. And in the moments when you're not owning it, that's a gift too, because we all get lost.
Ashley, do you see us as, shining you on, saying things to you that aren't true?
No, I mean, no, because one of the things I've found by coming to your seminars that has kind of struck me again and again, there's an honesty and there's a truth and there's a something here that is, so I have a deep trust in what you say.
And authenticity. And have we ever treated you as less?
No.
Well, then why do you treat you as less?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, maybe you should give it up.
Yeah.
Would that be okay? If you just gave it up, and when you notice you do it, you don't beat on yourself for it and say, oh, look, that old habit is still existent.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I can see how I go to there's a pull to go to the, no, I love that. I love that.
The pull is old and sometimes it's convenient. I may have talked about this on a previous podcast, I'm not sure. So but
Probably you have.
we have a friend whom you know, Sandy, who she's a brilliant editor. She edits a lot of our Living Made Easy on demand videos, and she does a brilliant job. She's also like an award-winning editor and whatnot. She's for film, she does really, really brilliant work. So we're honored to have her
edit our
videos. But in addition, she has had this new passion that revealed itself. Like she likes to help people declutter their homes. So she's getting clients, and she recently came here to support someone who was getting ready to move and had a whole lifetime worth of stuff in their home. And they're moving from a large home into an apartment. And so the majority of the stuff needs to go, and there's the sentiment and all that stuff around. And I said, oh, well, maybe you could come over here and I'll hire you to help me declutter something in my office. And she said, no. I was like, what? She said, no, you are organized. I will happily come over and hang out with you, but you can't hire me. And it was a moment where I had a choice to hang on to my perspective, go, no, you don't understand. I have this drawer over there and it's got stuff in it. Or I just heard what she had to say, not only deeply, but it was like
took it on
like
as
a garment, and I wore it, and I looked up and I looked around and went, I'm organized. I have organized more portions of, the tea cupboard that had stuff from when we moved here,
23 years ago.
We had a big tea basket. Ashley, you'll get a kick out of this. And I put teas in there, and I've added teas. And there's certain ones I didn't like, but we had used for seminars, because we used to do seminars out of our home when we lived in Woodstock, New York. So I'm like, I'm going to get this out. I'm going to look. I found tea in there from January 10th, 1998. That was the sell-by date or use-by date. Now, I can laugh at that because I thought that was the winner. I found a winner. I had two of those, Berry Zinger and Red Zinger. Clearly, I don't like those because I never drink them. So I threw them out. So it's not like I was disorganized. Entropy set in. I got very excited at looking at what I wanted to attend to next. So that drawer has not been organized yet, but I've just been systematically moving through the spaces that have fallen into disarray. But the drawer is not proof that I'm disorganized. It's just the next thing that I'll be handling. So you can either be less, or you can just go,
that's what's next.
That's what's next. I handle this, I'll handle that. There is no less.
Mm, mm, wow. Yeah.
I
That's-
re- I know we've spoken to you about this before. I know we likely have spoken to you on a podcast. It was years ago, maybe 2015, 2016, when we did led a course in Cambridge, and one of the participants came up and gave you a hug and said, "You saved my life." Because the type of body work you did with that individual who was really physically impaired gave her range of motion. At that time, they didn't think she was going to live a long time. She's still alive, doing well as far as I know. And I'll bet you are more
Capable,
now than you were
more skilled.
in 2016. But you still have
But
this,
the self-doubt doesn't go away, you see.
because it's a recording.
That mental chatter that finds fault with you is old, and it's a recording. It's not you.
So you think it's going to go away? It's like putting on an old vinyl record of the Beatles and expecting it to play,
Pavarotti.
Okay. Yeah, I have been expecting it. Yeah, I see that. I've been expecting. Yeah, cool.
Maybe,
yeah.
Ashley, you can see you through our eyes and realize how incredibly great you are and how we hold you in high esteem. Okay?
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not worth crying about either.
I'm so happy. I know you were nodding, but since this is an audio, I'm really happy you said, okay, yes.
Yes, yeah, yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's an honor. Thank you. And I love what you say about lightening up, because this is yes.
Look, let me ask you a question right now. Have you
Yes.
lightened up?
Yes.
Did you
I-
tell yourself you should lighten up, or did it just happen?
No, it just happens. It happens.
You have it.
Yeah.
I'm also really happy you're coming for the Freedom to Breathe
Mhm.
and fun as the access way to enlightenment. I mean, Freedom to Breathe is definitely a course that is geared to support you and not having to think about anything, just to be in your body and breathe. And fun as the access way to enlightenment. I don't see it as either course as something that's going to, quote, help you. I see them both as the celebration of Ashley.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, wow, amazing. It is.
Well,
That's because you
you
are.
amazing.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
I don't look forward to our courses as well. When I get there, things will be better, and I can look forward to adventures, things that we're going to do. But I see that your participation in anything we do is like a celebration of who you are in that moment, or you expressing your interest in that subject, your interest in you, not because you are broken and at the end of the weekend you will be fixed. But our mind likes to think we're broken and that we need fixing, and I'm not sure that will ever go away.
Yeah.
You look to
What I get is so much well-being. It's just such an incredible sense of well-being comes from coming to the calls, to the seminars.
Well, look, we distract you for a little while from that incessant mind where it complains and says you're not doing your life right. So you get taken away from that, and then you discover, hey, things are pretty good.
yeah.
It's just whatever television station you're watching.
What the Ashley needs help
It can be
television.
on Ashley's a problem or Ashley's an amazing being. They're two different stations. Broadcasting
And
different.
they broadcast at the same time, and you just depends on what you're tuning into.
That's right.
And it's a 24/7 broadcast.
Yeah. Hmm.
Nice breath.
That was.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today.
Yes,
This was
thank you.
fun.
Thank you.
Hey, did you enjoy this podcast? I know we've said this before, but if so, and you feel moved to, you can leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It helps other people find being here, or you can just forward. And somebody recently forwarded me a podcast. I was really touched by, oh, I heard this. I love this. I thought you would love it too. It's another way to share the possibility of being here with other people. Ready for next week's podcast?
I am.
Fun is not an afterthought.
Well, let me think about that. Come on back.
And don't miss
Being here.